I'm a plane with wings.
I'm a plane, but I have legs.
And that's essentially... Actually, was that the tornado or was that the cyclone, come to think of it?
Okay, I got a slight confession here. I kind of thought they were the same plane.
Honestly, I'm inclined to think the same, only because I'm on the Cyclone wiki page and tornado transformation.
Wait, is that the quote?
That's the quote on this page.
Oh no!
I don't think anybody really knows the difference between the cyclone and the tornado.
Oh my god! Wait a minute, you're right. What the heck?
Yeah. Welcome back to the LoreX podcast. That's what we're talking about today: the tornado and/or cyclone. It's Tails' mech.
Tails'
whatever you
plane.
want to call it. His plane, but it's also his walker, and it's also his car, and sometimes spaceship.
Dude, Tails knows how to get around in style. Sonic and everyone, they have to run. He roll up all gangsta in his car, like shades down. Hey man, my car turns into a plane. What do your legs do? And then he just drives off.
Dude, I've been playing through Sonic Adventure 2 Battle recently, and so I have been piloting, I believe it's the Cyclone, not the Tornado.
Correct.
But just the mechanical design of it in walking mode is something that I've never had the chance to fully appreciate and take a look at. And now we've got an episode on it, so finally.
As a kid, I thought the mech section was like cool because I like mechs and stuff. If you know anything about me, I'm really into like giant mechs and even like smaller mechs. So I always thought that was really cool, but also like weird because I'm like, you're used to being like an anthropomorphic character just running around, not piloting anything. A little bit of a culture shock, I guess.
Now, to start things off, the Cyclone and the Tornado are different vehicles.
Yes.
And I've done the liberty of determining where one name applies, the other one doesn't. The Cyclone is the mech that you see that can transform into the car, the plane, and the walker. The Tornado, the original Tornado, is like Sonic's biplane. The Tornado 2 was Tails' upgraded version.
Yeah, the one from Sonic Adventure that you used to assault the egg carrier.
And then the Tornado, there's other Tornadoes too.
Correct.
And we can get on that. The one that can have legs is the Cyclone.
Yes.
And the Tornado never has legs.
Correct.
Because I don't think I've ever seen a tornado walking. Although tornadoes do hop, though. That's a thing that happens in weather, apparently.
I didn't know that.
But in this case, the Cyclone hops because it's got that jet butt that allows it to hover.
It got mad hops, though. It doesn't do hopping that well.
Only Tails' Cyclone has mad hops. And it ain't even a rabbit. Holla at your girl Cream. In any case.
Cream mech suit when?
Dude, what if? Actually, just as a sidebar, who in Team Rose would have the mech? It would be Cream, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
She's the flyer.
Or at least, like, if we're going, like, the different categories for, like, Sonic Adventure 2, then, yeah, it would have to be Cream.
That's a good point.
That also means that Big would have to dig through walls, and, I'm pretty sure he would just knock walls down instead of digging.
I think the best large character that would be apt to dig through walls would be Zomom, but we don't have a Team Zeddy.
Also, there's too many Zeddy for them to all be in one team.
I mean, I guess you could be a Team Zeddy 1 and Team Zeddy 2.
And I'm just thinking about the, like, oh, I forget his name, but the one who I think is a total loser, the one with the rose.
Zor.
I'm like, what would he do? Ugh. Actually, he would just be the one who shows up and literally everyone from every team beats him up for no reason. Just get out of here, nerd.
That's a win-win situation because he likes it.
Why'd you have to remind me?
Anyway, back to
No,
Tails.
yeah, let's go back to the tornado, the cyclone, whatever we're talking about. I feel like we should kind of go back with the original and talk about the tornado. Yeah. The tornado, from my understanding, was originally Sonic's plane, wasn't it?
I think you're right. Yeah.
And then he just kind of let Tails pilot it after they became pals. It's one of those like Tails kind of borrowed it, and then I feel like over time it became Tails's in a way. But he still kept Sonic's name on the plane because I want to say it still says like Sonic on the side in like white, even though that does change like game to game, I want to say.
It can. I know there's a difference between at least the Cyclone markings in the comics and the video games. Oddly enough, it looks like the first instance of the tornado seems to be as an unnamed plane in Sonic Spinball. If you remember during the original cutscene in the very beginning when we played it on the channel, there's this like blue plane with little red wings. And I wonder if that's like Sonic's plane that Tails would later upgrade to the Tornado 2.
I don't think that's the tornado because again, not only does like the paint scheme different because the paint scheme that's got right there, we don't see that again until I think it's the Tornado 2 in Sonic Adventure. And
Okay,
also, like,
yeah.
if you look at the plane itself, it's a completely different plane.
Oh, yeah, actually, I'm taking a look at it now, and it's got like a propeller in the back?
Yeah. So
Unless the plane is flying toward the camera.
which it's not, because we played that cutscene. They're heading
Yeah.
toward the Metro Fortress.
Oh, yeah, that is a very interesting
So
design.
unless Tails is really good at backing that thing up.
Yeah, the longer I look at this plane, the more I'm like, wait a minute, I don't think that's designed very well.
I'm actually getting a huge kick out of just imagining Tails is just flying his plane in reverse the whole time. He's like, I'm gonna try and run that hacker over with the bed of my plane. And Sonic's like, Tails, I don't think this is a good idea.
When I look at any other image of the tornado, the propeller is clearly on the front, and that thing appears to be flying backwards and doesn't even look the same. So, okay. The wiki says that it is an unnamed plane. I guess it'll remain that way.
It will remain forever unnamed.
In my heart, it will always be Tornado ?
It will always be that plane from Spinball.
Plane from Spinball.
Also, one thing I
R.I.P.
love here on the page here for the tornado is there's a section called specifications, and it actually gives like the length of like the plane itself, like the kind of engine it's using, the weapons on it, and like the millimeter. This screams to me realistic mecha, because when I buy like a Gundam model kits, like sometimes like on the sides of the box, so like tell you interesting information about the mobile suit, and it will actually include this kind of information like how fast it can go, its height, all the kinds of armaments, the millimeter of the armaments, trying to give it this realistic aspect, even though obviously it's not real, but they try to make it sound real. I adore this stuff.
And I think if you recall during the Metal Sonic episode, I want to say that Metal Sonic had specifications too.
Yes, I think you're right. Yeah, I love that they're trying to give it like some aspect of realism. Obviously it's not real, but it's so cool.
You're saying it's not real? The Cyclone's just in my head?
No way.
So planes don't walk?
No, it can't be.
My entire world shattered. Sonic Prime.
Also, now I'm just thinking of passenger planes at like the airport, just like sprouting like muscular man legs, just walking around.
Oh my gosh. People in the airport terminal restaurant being like, food drops out of mouth.
They just see the like chicken walking around.
And then a giant serpent water beast with tentacles starts like crawling down the runway. And somebody's like, little kid's like, is that chaos? Sonic is real! And Tails comes in and flies by the window, and Tails is just like, you're right! And then just keeps flying. And then it pans back to the one person eating whose mouth is still gaping open.
Oh, I love this mental image we have created. This is horrifying.
I don't know why, but in my head, because I've been playing Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, Tails' voice line of "Fire rocket launcher" just popped into my head.
I hate the fact that you say this, and in my mental image, like he's still like talking to the kid. So just staring at the kid, checking them.
Tails is making direct eye contact with the kid, and he's like, "Fire rocket launcher," and then flies away. And the kid's like, I know what I must do.
We need to get back on track here.
Tornado OG. We're still on Tornado OG.
Yes, we are.
Where else do we see like the original Tornado? Because I think it seems like if we're talking about the original Tornado, it is a red plane.
Yeah, it's a red biplane.
Right? We see that in the animation. It looks like it makes an appearance in the OVA, Sonic X. It makes an appearance in Sonic Prime even. And it still has that Sonic label. It's got a propeller on the front, it seems. And it's got that double wing style, which you typically see Sonic standing on top of.
It's been in a boatload of games like Sonic CDs. I don't know which version of Sonic 2, but Sonic 2, Sonic 3, and Knuckles.
Sonic Chaotix, as well as the Paramount films.
I was even going to say, I'm like, it even had a cameo in Knuckles Chaotix.
It even had an unused sprite in Knuckles Chaotix.
Oh, cool.
So it makes a hot appearance in a number of different places. And I think for all intents and purposes, it's a plane. Nothing else too special.
Yeah, it's a red biplane. It's got missiles somewhere. It's got machine guns, I assume kind of like in the front, like how kind of like the planes they had back in like World War II.
And at least according to the features and abilities page, the Tornado's top speed is 450 kilometers per hour or 280 miles per hour.
Because I don't know planes, I don't know if that's like fast for a plane, if that's not fast for a plane, especially of like this type. Because I'm assuming something like a fighter jet can go much faster than that.
Well, apparently, according to a quick Google search, the average cruising airspeed for a commercial passenger aircraft that flies long distances is approximately 475 to 500 kilometers per hour, 547 to 575 miles per hour. So this thing is slow. Hold on, that was a commercial aircraft.
Yeah,
Hold
that's
on.
compared to a commercial aircraft.
Biplane speed.
Average biplane.
150 miles an hour.
Okay, so this is...
It's fast for a biplane.
Yeah, this is marginally faster than your standard biplane.
Well, like twice as fast.
Yeah.
Do you think that it used to go that fast when it was Sonic's plane, or only after Tails got his grubby little mechanic hands all over
Honestly, I feel like that was a Tails thing.
I bet he kind of polished out the edges, making like, I'm making it more aerodynamic. Sonic's like, what?
I also want to say, I think that it's a scene in Sonic X, so I don't know if it's canon, but at least in Sonic X, I think it's Tails just kind of finds the tornado, and he just starts working on it.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't even know who the pilot is. He just starts working on it. And then Sonic's like, dude, what are you doing to my plane? And he's like, oh, sorry, I like tech, so I just upgraded your plane.
Oh, this is your plane? Oh, let me make it easy for you. Paints Sonic on it. Is that okay now? Can I call it mine though?
They're like, hi, my name's Tails. I'm your best friend now, and this plane is mine.
It was then in that moment, Sonic was like, yeah, I guess the fastest hedgehog alive having a plane is kind of redundant now, isn't it? It looks directly at the camera when saying that.
Also, in their world, like, do they need a license? Because who would give a 14-year-old hedgehog and an 8-year-old fox flying license?
To be fair, I don't think anybody's checking Eggman's ID either, and who knows what the heck he's piloting.
He's piloting his own thing.
You don't need a license to drive a death egg.
Or Eggmobile. Or Egg Walker.
Or Egg Walker. At the same time. So in Sonic X, Tails upgrades the Tornado to the Tornado 2.
No, on that like initial meetup, he just upgrades the Tornado to make it go faster.
Okay. They
They don't actually really do the Tornado 2 in Sonic X. Like, I think it has like a minor appearance at one point, but instead of doing the Tornado 2, they do the X Tornado, which that we'll get into later. If you remember in Sonic Adventure, like when you first bump into Tails, he's not flying the Tornado.
Yeah, wasn't he in like a gray plane?
Yeah, it's a gray plane that's running on a Chaos Emerald. And this plane does not have a name. It's literally just called Prototype. This plane is the prototype for the Tornado 2.
Oh, okay.
Which we get after the tornado gets shot down.
That makes sense. I mean, hey, if your plane is going to get shot down for whatever reason and you happen to have a Chaos Emerald, a effectively limitless source of power within the confines of certain universal standards, might as well use it to make a new plane.
Also, I don't know what the actual line is, but when the tornado gets shot down by the egg carrier, I always hear it as like the wing pops up and it's like, they go like, we've been hit, yeah! And then they start going like, oh! I always just hear them just excitedly say yeah when they're like, we've been hit. And I'm like, why are you guys excited for this? There's a good chance you'll die.
Cool down, Tails. You are not Zor. Not yet. We haven't even introduced the masochist yet.
At least a decade before. But yeah, so we get the Tornado 2, which has that nice like blue with the red ends. It keeps like the Sonic on the side. It's got the Tails logos and Go-Go Gadget. It can transform.
I love that. But can it grow legs?
You're asking, can a machine grow? But
okay, we've talked about this before.
No.
Can it transform into legs?
It do not have legs.
Do not have legs. Not Tornado 2.
I will say, that actually really confused me, because for the longest time, I thought the Tornado 2 and the Cyclone were the same thing. I thought they were the same plane.
I mean, that kind of makes sense, right? Because if you started playing Sonic Adventure, which has the Tornado 2 that can transform, if you played Sonic Adventure 2, like the next title, then you'd be like, oh, this must be the same plane as before, but now it's got legs on it.
Yeah.
I mean, Tornado 2 was the number 2, And the Cyclone has the number 3 on it, so...
And also, it's always difficult with, like, technology in media, because, like, if its appearance changes, oh, is this, like, a new version of this, or is it just a redesign? As we covered in, like, the Omega episode, Omega was still Omega, but they redesigned him several times.
That's fair, yeah.
So... Tornado 2, it's your standard biplane, but it can transform into like a X-shaped fighter, I guess, like almost like a fighter jet plane.
Yeah,
would be the best.
it's like battle mode.
Yeah,
but it also is called jet plane mode because it seems to have like this plasma thruster.
You lose the propeller and get like this like hyper jet thruster, and the wings kind of split into an X. And supposedly it has more missiles, same machine gun, obviously, and no landing gear, because that's the whole bit with that thing.
I remember that bit, yeah. I can't seem to find a speed for the Tornado 2.
Yeah, neither can I, because the only thing I see here is, like, maximum speed is unknown.
I mean, it's got a jet on the back of it, and it's powered by a Chaos Emerald.
Yes, it is, because that's how, Chaos gets the last Chaos Emerald, because basically Tornado 2 crashes on the egg carrier, and then when the egg carrier is going down, Big gets on it and flies it back to Mystic Ruins.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. That Big knows how to pilot this thing. I forgot about that. Okay, so wait, how does the Chaos Emerald get the Chaos then? I don't remember.
Chaos is in Mystic Ruins and grabs the Chaos Emerald from it.
Oh.
Because it's just crashed, and because Big, once he crashed it, he's like, well, time to go home, and him and Froggy went home.
I see.
And I'm willing to bet Tails just assumed it went down with the egg carrier. And also shame on that Fox for 1, not keeping track of his stuff, and 2, not putting landing gear on this thing. Like, I know there's like the quote of like any landing you can walk away from is a good one, but I don't know, the implication I got was that for some reason he can't transform it back into plane mode.
What makes you think that, actually?
Only because like when they're like trying to land on the egg carrier, he's just like, oh, there's no landing mode. And it's like, well, can't you just transform it back?
Yeah, like where'd your wheels go?
And he doesn't.
And another thing I noticed too is, I don't know about how the chronology works here, but if it is in battle mode when it crashes, Big manages to fly it away.
Yes.
And then in Sonic Heroes, which I think basically takes place after these events, it also appears in battle mode, not in regular mode.
Yeah. Also, I forgot this thing appeared in Sonic Heroes.
Me too, because I think it was only during, the beginning cutscenes or something?
Yeah, it's the intro cutscene for Team Sonic. And then I think that's the last time we see this thing.
Yeah, I don't think it makes an appearance much else.
Oh.
Aside for one-off appearances in, like, Sonic X as well as the comic series.
Hang on, I'm wrong. It makes 2 other appearances in games, specifically in the biplane mode. One is in Sonic Advance 3 for a special stage, and the other is Sonic Riders.
So for the special stage, that goes back to me wondering whether or not certain elements are only visible, quote unquote, visible from like the player's eye. Like, is the biplane actually in the special stage? Does the special stage actually exist? I don't really know.
Is the special stage actually real?
Yeah.
But
for the Riders,
Sonic Riders, that's real.
No, that's a good point.
And again, it's in biplane mode again. And also apparently got an upgrade because there's another seat now. Yeah, no, it did get an extra seat because Knuckles is sitting in there.
Knuckles and Sonic. I mean, that would make me think like, okay, so I assume that between the events of Sonic Adventure and Sonic Riders, Tails probably found the biplane or just rebuilt a new one. And if he did find the original, he just kind of put it back into the original mode, possibly learning from the experience that, oh, you know, if I fly this thing again, maybe it should be in landing gear mode.
Yeah, or hey, maybe I should put in a function so it can transform back. So, you know, I don't have to crash my plane every time I want to land.
No, wait, you know what, Lycos? I know why he didn't put the landing gear in there. He's just like, it's got a Chaos Emerald. I'll just Chaos Control it. Duh.
But the only person who can Chaos Control with one is Shadow.
And we also didn't establish Chaos Control until Sonic Adventure 2.
Yeah.
But like, duh.
And that is basically it for the Tornado 2.
So at this point, I know you were mentioning, the Tornado X? Or the Hyper Tornado? Do we want to talk about that first, or?
The X
for the
Tornado.
Cyclone? Yeah.
So the X Tornado is specifically the jet they get in Sonic X, hence why there's the X in the name. Have you seen this thing?
Yeah, dude. It's like, it looks like it's floating in the atmosphere or something.
Yeah, so basically it can handle going into space. I think that was literally the episode it was introduced. Was
It also looks like
Eggman had a mech that was causing shenanigans in space. And they're like, hey, good thing we built this plane that can go into space.
Also, please correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But the back of that plane kind of looks like thighs.
Well, you're not entirely wrong because it's got legs.
No, it doesn't. It's not a Cyclone. No, no, it can't possibly.
No, it is the Cyclone. It's literally, no, it's called the X Cyclone when it turns into legs.
Wait, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right, Cameron. It doesn't have legs in X Tornado mode, but when it becomes the X Cyclone,
it got legs.
Back becomes legs. That's great.
Also, it's really funny. So there's a line in the series about like Tails is like, oh yeah, this thing is like an all-terrain, multi-purpose, this, that, the other thing. And at one point they're in a field like trying to find a Chaos Emerald and it's very clearly like buried somewhere. And Amy's like, cool, we can have it dig. And Tails is like, we can't do that. This thing cannot dig. So it's not all-purpose.
I mean, it doesn't have arms.
Well, it can get arms because it also has a battle armor mode. So you take how it is with it gets big beefy legs. You make it fly like the Cyclone in jet mode and those legs become arms. I really hate how this thing looks. The battle mode looks so dumb.
I'd also like to point out too that if you've got legs, I think you can effectively stop yourself from hitting the ground. But I don't see any means to land in this battle armor mode either.
Well, actually, technically you could. See, because you could proc yourself up with the hands.
So it's easy. You don't land in battle armor mode. Just fly towards the nearest building and grab onto it.
Yeah.
It's easy.
And also,
don't make any mistakes.
And this mode has a sword. Why does the plane have a sword?
Oh my god, it does.
Why?
As I was searching for Cyclone sword, I found that apparently they make a vinyl pop figure for Tails and the Cyclone, and I hate it.
A lot of the Sonic Funkos I'm not a fan of. Like, I don't know if you've seen the Cream one. Oh, Cream looks horrifying.
Yeah, no, not a fan. No bueno.
And see, the worst part is my sister has that one.
Ooh, scary.
Yeah. The X Tornado basically replaced the Tornado 2 in their chronology of when they covered the Sonic Adventure plotline.
Gotcha. In Sonic X specifically, right?
Yes. The X Tornado is only in Sonic X.
Are there any other like transformations in Sonic X that we have with this specific tornado?
No, it's primarily the jet mode, the X Cyclone, and then the battle armor mode. Those are our transformations. The only other thing that it does appearance-wise is in the latter half of the series, like when they're in space and stuff, it goes from being silver to being gold. And personally, I'm not a fan.
Oh, yeah, that's weird.
Cameron, did you ever watch Macross?
Can't say I have.
Okay. Specifically like Robotech Macross. I see here in the trivia, they think that the Cyclone, or the X Tornado is kind of like an homage to this series. Because basically in Robotech Macross, you have fighter planes that can transform. So you got like your fighter jet mode, you have a jet mode that has like legs and arms, and then you have like a full robot mode.
Okay.
And basically like this is a little bit of an homage to that.
Specifically this kind of X vehicle.
Yes,
thing.
the X Tornado.
Cool. Did you watch a lot of Macross?
Oh, I loved Robotech Macross when I was a kid.
Oh,
like
cool.
I actually have some figures from it.
This is not Gundam, right?
No, this is not Gundam.
Gundam being a fundamentally different type of mech?
Correct.
Cool.
Like Gundam does have transforming mechs, but no, Macross is its own thing.
All right, cool. Now, what about this hyper tornado that you were mentioning?
Okay, so the hyper tornado, it only really appears in like the latter half of the series. Jeez, I feel like I'm saying that a lot. Basically, it's a fighter jet in space.
Nice.
That's really it, because they have their big spaceship and they're going across the universe, fighting the Meta-Rex, trying to stop them from destroying the universe.
Evidently, the hyper tornado is like the fastest tornado that we see because this thing can reach speeds beyond Mach 3, apparently.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes sense.
Yeah, and also, like, we don't have a ton of information on this thing because, again, it only appears so far in that series. So I'd say at max, it's there for, like, my gut says, like, 20, 15 episodes because it's only, like, a 70-some episode series.
Yeah, and I see here, too, that evidently I must have missed a lot when I watched a little bit of Sonic X when I was younger. But when the heck did we get to flying biplanes to super mega space aircraft carriers? carrier in space.
So,
Because it says here in the anime, in the LoreX saga, which I forgot even existed, the hyper tornado becomes a part of the blue Typhoon, and the picture of this thing just looks like a space aircraft carrier.
yeah, that is
with trees on it.
Yeah, the blue Typhoon is their home base in the LoreX arc, and yeah, it's basically a airship carrier in space.
What the heck?
I heard you about the trees, and even Chris, the human character in that series, is like, why are there trees? And Tails' response is, he's like, oh, well, your ship should feel like home. And he was used to, at Chris's house and also like his workshop, how like the trees would part for the, so he could launch the plane.
Yeah, that is super similar to in Sonic Adventure. It is lab. The trees would do the thing, right? That's cool, actually.
It's silly, but at the same time, I do like appreciate like the reasoning they have there. Just like, hey, I want it to feel like home.
If I had to critique, when the heck did they find the time to build this thing?
Literally,
how did they build this thing?
They ask Tails like, how did you build this, or why did you build this? He's like, I figured maybe at some point we'd need to go to space, so I built a spaceship just casually and told no one about it and hid it underground.
Yeah, talk nothing of the material costs, let alone the size of the bunker that you would need to actually put this thing together.
I mean, this is the same problem that Eggman has, frankly, because he does the same thing. Like, the only difference here is Eggman can build like the egg ponds and whatnot and program them to help him build this, so that I can kind of see. Tails doesn't do that, so I have no idea. It's like Hammer Space, but for Tails and building gadgets and whatnot.
Gadget space.
Yep. And that is it for the Sonic X exclusive Tornado and Cyclone. Let's talk about the Cyclone. I want to talk about the Cyclone.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like we talked about the walking plane, but we didn't talk about the OG walking plane.
Yeah, the OG walking plane.
The Cyclone. It's one of my favorite mechs, only because Sonic Adventure 2 is like my childhood.
Yeah, dude, I never had the chance to look that is like your favorite game.
Upon close inspection of the image that they provide here for the Cyclone, things that I've never had a chance to look at before. There's still that label of Sonic on it. There are multiple instances of this sort of Tails logo here with his two double tails. You've got a couple of arrows and stuff on it. You've got that characteristic blue and yellow color scheme. But also there's other labels on it too that says P3A Tornado. It looks like there is some caution labeling on it. And then separate from P3A Tornado, which looks like it was kind of like mechanically printed onto the mech, in more handwritten font, it says Tornado 3. Nowhere on this thing does it say Cyclone.
Huh.
I thought it was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Unless it's in like sort of the like the more blurry text that's a little bit harder to make out.
I mean, although it is a different name, I could see it basically just be like, yeah, it's the same thing. It's just new. I'm almost curious if the Cyclone, was that like a translation thing, or did they actually call it the Cyclone in the original?
From what I remember, I don't know if they specifically call it by name, because even the quote on the page says Tornado Transformation. Let me try to see if they actually refer to it in the game text.
Because I was glancing at the trivia, and it is saying like, although it's called the Cyclone, it's got labeling saying Tornado 3. Or it could also be like they wanted to call it the Tornado 3, but then they're like, why don't we call it something else, so that way players will think, oh, Tornado is the plane, Cyclone is the transforming amalgamation. Because not only can the Cyclone transform into the walker, it has a plane mode, and it can also turn into a car.
So I actually found an unused voice line from Tails saying Cyclone engage. But it seems like the used voice line refers to it as the Tornado.
Interesting.
In my opinion, one of the coolest parts about this, and again, this is kind of a mechanic of the Sonic Adventure series, this thing's got upgrades. So it's modular as well, which kind of makes sense of how it can transform into whatever vehicle that you need for the occasion and progress and upgrade in a way that benefits the storyline, but also playability.
I will say some of the upgrades I was a little questioning about. Like, I feel like the thruster, so that way you can jump and hover a little bit. I feel like that should have been built into it already. And I thought that was silly that was an upgrade you needed. I don't know. I thought that was a little silly.
No, I can completely understand that.
But like some of the other ones, like increasing like the power and damage of like the weapons equipped on it, or like the additional weapons you get on it, like the little like missile launchers and stuff. That stuff I'm totally down with, and I'm like, yeah, that's fine. How did his upgrades already get here? He's never been here before, but whatever. Video game logic.
Yeah, and I think like as opposed to the booster upgrade, all of the other upgrades, honestly, I don't feel like I really ever noticed while playing the game. Because if you were anything like me playing this game, you just kind of clicked and held the buttons randomly without any sort of tact.
Yep.
Recently, I've been trying to get like better ranks in the game, so as I got older, I paid attention to, you know, how you're supposed to use the weapons and stuff like that. But even now, I don't really notice the difference between, let's say,
like the Vulcan cannon versus like the bazooka. Oh no, the bazooka's like the thing on the back, and the Vulcan's like the thing on the front. But like, I know what you're saying, that there are like weapon upgrades, but you don't feel it.
Yeah. If anything, the things that you do notice is the bazooka upgrade actually allows you to break those metal containers, which otherwise you couldn't do. And then the laser blaster increases the radius of your attack, but I don't think I ever really noticed that like in gameplay, because I never really had this concept of a radius anyways, except for I guess the laser pointer and how long it is when you're aiming towards things.
Yeah.
Because you can multi-target in Sonic Adventure 2.
I feel like that's almost just kind of like a knock at game design, only because like, again, these upgrades, you can get them, but like as the player, you don't feel like, oh, I got stronger, oh, my attacks do more damage. It's just like, okay, what'd that do? I noticed no difference. Oh, I can break the boxes now? Oh, that's kind of neat, but...
And I guess there's one mentality here that, you know, if the upgrade benefits the gameplay experience and it feels like nothing changed, maybe that's a good thing because it doesn't feel as obstructive. I think there's something to be said about that.
Yeah.
But in any case, the Cyclone is the... going back to the joke, if it is called a Cyclone, it can have legs. And one of the most notable features about the Cyclone is the fact that it has a walker mode, which is used extensively in Sonic Adventure 2.
Yep.
And also in other media as well. But it's also got a plane mode for it just to travel around, and apparently can fly fast enough to outspeed explosions, at least in one scene of the game when Prison Island explodes.
Yeah.
And then in car mode, it's really not that fast, to be honest.
But
it is fast enough to... Exactly. It's at least fast enough to be able to quite literally destroy cars.
Yeah, fast enough and durable enough to literally absolutely wreck other drivers on the road.
I gotta find the president! And I'll do anything necessary.
Well, I'm driving the wrong way on the road. Sucks to be you.
Actually, I don't think there is any wrong way on the road.
Yeah.
There is only... These roads are one way.
I could gripe about those stages all day because as a driver on the road, they make no sense. Like the straight up like 90-degree turns.
Yeah, those roads are no good. Those roads clearly were made for a video game. Of note about the Cyclone, not only does it have upgrades, but it's also got different paint jobs as well, for the same reason that when we were talking in the Rouge episode, the different characters have different outfits. In this case, because this is Tails' vehicle, it also had separate paint jobs. One's a reference to the original Tornado with that yellow and red color scheme. One's a Halloween theme, and it gets orange and yellow colors. And then the Christmas theme is the classic white and red.
Honestly, like, I'm looking at them all, and I'm like, the white and red is kind of nice. Actually, no, the white and red, I think, is actually my favorite. It looks a little more real, and I kind of like that. But I also love the Tornado one. That's a cute throwback.
I like how in the other games as well, the Cyclone is mentioned either in passing, like it is in Sonic Unleashed, or it is, like, repurposed to be something else in the game entirely, like what happens in Shadow the Hedgehog. You played Shadow the Hedgehog, right? Lycos? Evidently, they go to space at some point.
Yeah, because they need to go to the Ark. And I see this image here that it's just slapped onto the front of this goofy-looking spaceship.
That thing looks like it walked straight out of the TV series that Buzz Lightyear is from in the Toy Story universe.
Yeah, like, this thing looks like a toy.
It just gives me that vibe.
I get that vibe.
But yeah, it looked like they quite literally just took the Cyclone in plane mode and just kind of took the two models and just kind of like merged them together.
Like some kid bored with Legos.
Just no clipped. Yeah.
Which that's funny because the Cyclone has a Lego set now.
Oh, does it really?
It does. It's
that's cool.
It's Tails and the Cyclone fighting Metal Sonic.
Really?
The one beef I have with this set is the Cyclone cannot transform.
But it's walking though.
It do be walking dough.
I like that. Wow, that's cool looking.
Because I have been tempted on this set, actually.
I don't think I've ever been as excited for a Lego set in my adult life as I am right now, knowing that there is a Cyclone Walker Lego set with Metal Sonic. That's so cool, man. Oh my god, that's so cool.
Also, I did not realize that the Cyclone appears in Sonic Frontiers of all games.
Yeah, I saw that screenshot too. I don't know if you can play as Tails in the game because I haven't played Sonic Frontiers, but you can summon. Tails can summon the Cyclone.
Yeah, Yeah, because I don't have a ton of context on this because I have not played Sonic Frontiers either. But I just thought this is cool. I like that. I love when we have like a cool like device like this and it's not just a one shot. Like you see it again and again, either in like later games or in the case of Sonic, more likely like used in other media, because this thing is used in the comics as well. Like one of my
during the Zombot art.
Yes, there's a really cool art where Tails is in the Cyclone. It's like dead in front. You can see like the face ship in the back. It's such a cool art. I love this art.
I think I'm gonna steal that art for the thumbnail. That's so cool looking. It's so cool looking.
It's so good.
Also, I notice here, going back to the appearance in Sonic Frontiers, apparently I don't know if this is specifically cyberspace or otherwise, but when the Cyclone appears, a lot of those extra decals and stuff are just not present.
Oh, would you look at that? Interesting.
Yeah, right? And in addition to that, there's a mention at the very bottom of the Cyclone wiki page about this Last Cloudia, which is, quote, Tails uses attacks from his appearance in Sonic Frontiers, and one of them is the Cyclone Cannon. But I don't really know what Last Cloudia is.
I don't know what that is.
I think it's another game entirely. Oh yeah, it is a fantasy RPG that weaves a sprawling tale with quirky characters and cinematic effects by Adis. I guess they must have had like a Sonic crossover or something. Interestingly enough, one of the other abilities that we see the Cyclone has is like a little like grappling hook function, which I think when I saw this, I was like, I don't remember ever using a grappling hook in Sonic Adventure 2.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's available only in the multiplayer mode, and it's kind of like one of the ranged attacks that you can do to, I guess, grapple.
Oh, is it kind of like how the Egg Walker had like the fist that would shoot out? Okay.
Yep. Exactly. I did a deep dive on the grappling hook because I didn't remember that it was even in the game completely. But being that there are other Walker type mechs, I had to know what the other grappling hook equivalence was because of Eggman's fist, right? And evidently, the Chow Walkers have their own version of this.
Okay.
And the only wiki page that I could find for any of the Walkers and their grappling hook equivalent is the Dark Chow Walkers attack, instead of a grappling hook, is just, quote, Dark Omo Chow.
What?
It just looks like the Dark Chow Walker spits out an Omo Chow head that just has a different color scheme. Instead of it being like the yellow and blue, it's black and red.
Oh, what the heck?
And I just think this is funny because we found yet another instance
more
of
Omo Chow's
weaponry. Body. Exactly.
I was expecting you were going to bring up like Big the Cat because he had like the Egg Walker, except instead of the fist, it was Froggy.
That's fair. You're right. I forgot about that too.
But no, Dark Omo Chow. Oh my gosh, we're gonna have the Omo Chow wars, the light Omo Chow versus the dark Omo Chow.
And I was trying to see if the other Chow Walkers have an Omo Chow attack, and so far I haven't been able to find it. But then again, I haven't actually played the multiplayer mode recently.
Also, one thing I did not realize, the mechs are not all the same mechanically. Like, they are slightly different. The Cyclone is faster than Eggman's Walker, but it's also weaker than his.
Oh,
I did not know that. So I actually kind of like that, where it's like, oh yeah, there are slight differences between the mechs. I think game design wise, that's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, so it's not just like you swap out the models. I like that. I like attention to detail.
And unlike the Tornado, the Cyclone does not crash twice. At least in the games, it doesn't get destroyed, I think.
Most notably here too, as opposed to the Tornado 2, I don't think any of the other variants are powered by a Chaos Emerald.
Yeah,
or utilize its power.
Because even its appearance in Sonic Heroes, it didn't have a Chaos Emerald. I think it's implied that like after the events of Sonic Adventure, Tails moved on to different power sources. Probably because not only is Chaos Emerald energy kind of dangerous with technology, as we've explained previously, but also probably did not want to become a target for like Eggman or whoever if he's trying to like run tests on this plane.
A piece of me wonders too whether or not Tails has any other creations that are powered by a Chaos Emerald.
Of like our heroic cast, like he is the one most likely to have his hands on a Chaos Emerald.
And maybe some research into the Chaos Emerald power sources in the comics, but no explicit uses of it. So it looks like that's the only use of Tails using a Chaos Emerald for his mechs.
Okay. Even going back to the X Cyclone, the X Tornado,
yeah.
I don't believe that ran on Chaos Emeralds. It may have run on one, but absolute minimum, I know it did have storage for Chaos Emeralds, because I think at one point there's like 4 stored in it. So is that it for Tails and his wacky fun planes? Did we miss anything?
I only got one more thing for you.
Okay.
Did you know that one of the tornadoes goes underwater.
What? Which one?
Oh, yeah. Oddly enough, I feel like you would know this one because this is from Sonic Rush Adventure.
Oh.
And oddly enough, it relates to what we were just talking about because this SS Tornado EX is powered both by Chaos Emerald Energy and Soul Emerald Energy and uses them to tunnel between dimensions.
What?
So Tails' SS Tornado EX is a ship-like vessel that allows them to go back and forth between dimensions. So not underwater, it just kind of looks like a ship. My mistake there.
Oh, I have an assumption of when this thing appeared. Okay, yeah, that's why I don't remember this thing. That's how they get Sonic and Tails go back home. Once you defeat the Eggmen in the Egg Wizard.
Oh, okay.
So this is like the end of the game, like final cutscene kind of deal. That's why I don't remember this thing.
Okay. And it doesn't appear like it makes appearances anywhere else because I don't think we've really gone back to the Soul dimension very much.
Yeah, I don't think we really have since Rush Adventure, which is sad because, again, as I've stated previously, I really liked that game. It was tons of fun.
And most notably, I would like to reiterate that this is not a Cyclone because this ship does not have legs.
Yep, it does not transform. It's a boat. It's not even a plane.
Correct.
Wait
but
a
it
minute.
do be flying, though.
Wait, yeah, it does allow flight. Hang on. It has wings to fly.
Yeah, I don't see any jet engines on this thing, so I'm just going to say that it's Chaos Emerald, Soul Emerald, Energy, Magic, and that's how it floats.
Yep.
Because, like, if you're manipulating space and time, like, what is flight?
And also, it could just be because the Soul Emeralds are just like, yeah, let's make it fly. Why? We want it to. Because the Soul Emeralds do kind of have a mind of their own.
Do you think that the Soul Emeralds and the Chaos Emeralds are friends?
It might be like that awkward neighbor that across the street where you see occasionally, but you don't talk to.
That's fair. Or like the Chaos Emeralds being that they're like one-to-one equivalents to the Soul Emeralds, have like that Spider-Man meme where they'll just like the Emeralds are pointing at the Soul Emeralds back at each other.
Pointing at each other.
Yeah.
Oh, I like
to
that
think
one
that
better.
I like to think in the Spider-Man meme, it's if there are 3 Spider-Men, there's a Chaos Emerald, a Soul Emerald, and a World Ring, and they're all like with each other.
Oh man, I love that.
So I think we covered most of the tornado and cyclone. I think we're done, aside from the weather phenomena.
Yep. And like there probably are other instances of things called the tornado and like probably like the racing games. Like I think in one of the ones where it's like the cars, I don't remember what that series is called. I think his primary vehicle is like the tornado something and it's literally just a plane.
I think I remember seeing that one and I think it's just yellow.
Yeah. Or like maybe that will be like a name on his extreme gear. Tornado Cyclone, that's like Tails' naming convention. So it just fits.
The last thought is just like, Tails likes to name things after weather phenomena. It's kind of his thing. He likes his tornadoes. He likes his cyclones. He likes his...
Paper?
Oh my God, wait, I found another cyclone.
Oh no.
Hold up a second.
Oh no.
I found another cyclone.
What'd you find?
It's also in Sonic Rush Adventure. And it's a water bike? It's a water bike. I don't even know what a water bike is. Wait.
Would it be like a jet ski? Okay, yeah, because there's a wave cyclone. That's a jet ski.
What is a water bike?
There is a ocean tornado, which is
a
giant boat.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Apparently Sonic Rush Adventure is what we were ending on.
Yeah, apparently. Because, then there's the SS Tornado EX. There's the SS Supermarine.
Oh my gosh.
There's the Deep Typhoon, which
that was another one.
I think it's a submarine. There's the Aqua Blast, and then there's the Magma Hurricane. The Magma Hurricane is a drill.
That's freaking cool.
Because, I think they need that to get to, like, where the Egg Wizard is. It's basically like you collected all the Chaos Emeralds. That's when this thing shows up. So, my memory on it is a little sketchy.
I am very disappointed right now.
Okay.
Because that last Cyclone doesn't have legs. However, you don't need legs in the water, but it looks like it has fins. Will you let me have that?
Yeah. Hey, I'll give it to you.
I'll take it. I will take that. All Cyclones have legs, or the equivalent of legs for the medium with which you are transporting yourself through.
Yep.
Case closed. Thanks for listening to the LoreX podcast. I'm Cameron with an X, video game mixologist on the Twitch and YouTubes, mixing up drinks and whatnot.
And I'm Lacos Lore. You can find me on YouTube where I'm mashing 2 games together, like the Cyclone and the spaceship. I'm just mashing them together.
See y'all next week.
Yep. Bye.